Good morning. My name is Jeremy Myers. I'm a Christensen Professor of Religion and Vocation and the Executive Director of the Christensen Center for Vocation. And eventually, we'll both get all that figured out. It's nice to have you here. We've been doing this now for over a year, these Uncovering Vocation Chapel Talks. And in 2 weeks, we'll have another, or actually I think it might be 3 weeks, November 14th, Jennifer Diaz from the Education Department will be here sharing her story with us. Today we have Jad Habib from our IT department. Jad is an international man of mystery. And we're lucky to have him serving here at Augsburg as an academic technologist. He was born in Côte d'Ivoire, the Ivory Coast in West Africa, and raised in a French-speaking household to Lebanese parents. Exposure to travel at an early age across Africa, Europe, and America heightened his desire to learn different languages and experience other cultures. He believed his experiences to be the source of his wish to bring people together, and has shaped the many paths in his journey since coming to the United States as a foreign student. We're really lucky to have you in our community, Jad. He's here today to speak to us about finding unity in diversity and unknowingly living out his vocation. So please welcome Jad.
Thank you, Nate, for the wonderful music. Thank you, Jeremy, for inviting me to present today. I really appreciate that. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for being here. I see a lot of familiar, friendly faces, so not as nervous anymore to speak. So after initially meeting with Jeremy to review what this series of presentations entail, it did not take me long to know that I wanted to cover what I feel has been always present in my life and what I feel I was meant to share with people with whom I cross paths. So I'm going to start by reading a few quotes that I find fit well in the story that I'm about to share. So first of all, American author Jacqueline Woodson shares that diversity is about all of us and about us having to figure out how to walk through this world together. Another American author, Audre Lorde, explained once that it is not our differences that divide us. It is our inability to recognize, accept, and celebrate those differences. Howard Schultz, a businessman, business figure, who was quoted as saying that, "I've traveled around the world, and what's so revealing is that despite the differences in culture, politics, language, how people dress, there is a universal feeling that we all want the same thing. We deeply want to be respected and appreciated for our differences." And finally, American minister and activist Martin Luther King Jr. once said, we may have all come on different ships, but we're in the same boat now." The last quote by MLK resonates with me because as a teenager, I came to the United States on a foreign student visa, albeit not on a ship, but I'm indeed in the same boat now. On that note, let me introduce myself again, and my story and why I chose to speak about harmony through unity. I hope to show through some of my stories why I feel my calling is that of a unifying person. I was born in the République de Côte d'Ivoire in West Africa, known in English as the Ivory Coast, to Lebanese parents in a mostly French-speaking household. I grew up exposed to Ivorian, Lebanese and French cultures and foods, and that was really good, by the way. Fortunate to experience travel often and from an early age across Africa, Europe, and America contributed to my desire to learn other languages and experience other cultures. This, I believe, shaped the adult I became and person that I am today. Experiences and friendships gained throughout my life have been varied and colorful in the most wonderful ways and have definitely been learning opportunities and growth triggers. From an early age, I felt that desire to connect and bring people together. As I talk through some of my experiences, this will hopefully become apparent. After arriving to the United States, I was immediately drawn to connect with other students learning English at the Pacific English Language Institute, PELI, in San Luis Obispo, California. I had flown from Nice, France, in the south of France, to San Luis Obispo. If anybody knows where San Luis Obispo is, it's a tiny town. No culture shock at all. Although my English was satisfactory at the time, I was required to take the TOEFL, or Test of English as a Foreign Language, in order to join the two-year community college, the local two-year community college. It was a rewarding feeling to get to know a group of PLI students and to break barriers by creating opportunities for all to connect through meaningful conversations, activities, and games. I learned a lot about Japanese culture, for example, among many other things. There were students from a handful of countries from Asia, Europe, and South America. Shortly after joining Cuesta Community College, 3 months later, I quickly realized that there was no organization on campus that connected the diverse groups of people represented there. So along with a couple of like-minded friends, I decided to create a club that would just do that. Empowered by the multitude of resources available at the time, I was able to draw up some bylaws and create the MCC, or Multicultural Club, which was the first of its kind in the campus's history. And as you can see, that is an article in the paper. So the MCC quickly grew to include over 50 members through activities that included folklore dancing, singing, and reading events, ethnic food fair, fundraisers, and more. The club's intent was in full display by exposing people to different experiences and cultures. The college paper also ran that article at the time to promote the organization and to encourage memberships. And there are a couple of quotes I highlighted there. After graduating from Cuesta Community College with an A degree in linguistics, I transferred to a 4-year university in Fresno, California. I stayed involved by working pretty much immediately after joining Fresno State for the International Students Office, where I would welcome and assist international students through their journey at the school. In that capacity, I was able to be part of many events that brought people together from all areas of the world. Again, I felt fulfilled by connecting with a lot of people from many different walks of life. The beauty of working for the International Students Office is that it was in no way limited to foreign students, so that others could join the events and students from abroad could learn firsthand about American culture. American families would host events for all to join. And it was just a great feeling all around. As a student majoring in business administration, I also got involved in organizations like the International Business Association, and I was voted president of the Financial Management Association. I was not a finance major. I'm not sure how that happened, but it did. So I took this as an opportunity to influence further the cause of promoting diversity that I had started at Cuesta College. This allowed me to further promote inclusivity in a different setting and through these organizations. While attending Fresno State University, and probably because of my active involvements on campus, I was invited to join a select group of students to a diversity retreat at a lake resort in the Sierra Nevada mountains above Fresno. It was a rough time. So, their students shared their stories and background and got to cook together and mingle during an extended weekend. It was a great experience all around that I will never forget. Another experience I would share where I wanted to embrace diversity was my enrollment in Chinese Mandarin classes, and I think I need to go to the next slide for that. I'll explain all these pictures in a minute. So I started learning Mandarin at Fresno State. I had lived with a family from Taiwan in San Luis Obispo for a short time and picked up a few words. It was only logical that I should pursue another language, of course, since I felt connected to that through them, through that family. And you can see I have a midterm there too. There's no score, thankfully, so we're good. As a French citizen, and before my last year at Fresno State University, I was required to attend a summer military boot camp in France in order to push back my draft by 1 year. It was compulsory at the time, and so that I could graduate without delay. So I ended up joining the paratrooper unit in the French military, and there I again met a lot of diverse people and worked to promote camaraderie and togetherness. As the pattern now shows, I encourage my new friends to connect and share their experiences. And although it was just a summer, a very short time, I stayed in touch with most of them for many years after that. So now that brings us to joining the workforce. So in the late 90s, I'm aging myself here, please don't ask. In the late 90s, I tried to apply the same principles to my work after joining the workforce. So I often would create opportunities for people to come together and connect. As I'm sure some of my colleagues in the back there would attest here at Augsburg, every late spring, I invite all to a gathering at my house. And so I'm actually still in touch with some of my old colleagues. For example, I manage a team at Health Partners, and after many years, we still meet once a year. And one of my colleagues there once wrote a recommendation, and I'd like to read a passage from it because I think it really captures well what I'm trying to convey here. Jad brought us together and took a personal interest in us as individuals and a team. He brought cohesiveness and camaraderie and helped us become aware of our different strengths, so we were able to utilize the knowledge of our team members to gain perspective on the issues we solve daily. Our team is better and stronger due to Jad's leadership. So that was really a testament of what I have been trying to accomplish all this time, unknowingly, that's true, because I had to think about that after we met. So in summary, looking in and analyzing what I feel really is my vocation, and from the few examples I've shared, out of the many I did not or wouldn't have time to share today, I would say that connecting, uniting, and bringing people together as they are is truly what has driven me. I think that what I've learned most from these experiences is that regardless of your background, religion, creed, race, ethnicity, culture, or orientation, you should always interact with people based on the way they treat you and others, based on their personal traits and character, rather than their affiliations, because although we are all different in our own ways, at the end of the day, as Schultz puts it, we deeply want to be respected and appreciated for our differences. So it is only fitting that I ended up at Augsburg, but I feel we live these values every day. And that's it for me. Thank you very much for being here and for listening.